Hello everyone, this is Beastly Eel here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the latest episode of The Boys, specifically episode 5. So, this episode, like most episodes, start right where the last one ended. So we see that Soldier Boy is leaving and everything else is hunky-dory. The gang, or the boys I should say, get Kimiko out of there and they fly back to the United States for her to get an actual doctor. When they land, Frenchie, Kimiko, and MM split off away from Huey and Butcher. They're just not happy with what they've done. Specifically, dose them up with soup powers. We then see the fact that they're back now, and so Kimiko's in the hospital. She's unconscious and is not healing. MM goes to go back with his daughter to kind of not make amends, but kind of just spend some quality time with his daughter. We have Butcher in his apartment drinking heavily, where Maeve comes in and he explains what was happening, and then they get it on. It was very shocking, actually. Once we have that happen, we also have a little interaction between Starlight and Huey, where she's very confused at why his arm isn't broken anymore, and he tells her the truth and explains that it's the V, and that's what made him heal, and he has the ability to teleport. And she basically goes off on him, saying that it's unsafe, it's not good, you shouldn't do it, it's something that could severely damage you and everything else, and he didn't care. Definitely a big piece of that. He just did not care whatsoever, in the sense of because he likes the feeling of it so much. So, while this is all going on, we also have Homelander in charge of everything. So he's in charge of Vought. And what we see is he's seeing the business side for the first time. And I will say this, he is clearly overwhelmed. He doesn't know how to handle it. When somebody asks him a tough question, it does not go well because he doesn't have an answer, because he doesn't know how to run a business. And the best part is, there was one woman specifically in the board who asked, we know we're going to go down a little bit because of this transition. How do you feel like we're going to handle it? And he gets all defensive because, he's Homelander and he knows everything. And we see him visibly upset and worried, and it is hilarious because it's pitiful. He is basically a god in that universe, and yet he is terrified of not making money because people won't like him. So it's definitely just an interesting thing to see. He's fired a few people. He fired a lot of people, actually. He fired a bunch of people in criminal detection because they had some unfavorable tweets about him, and he only wants team players. So while this is going on, speaking of team players, since A-Train told Homelander what was going on, Homelander gave A-Train what he wanted, which was to talk about Blue Hawk. And he's not happy with how the conversation went, and we see the fact that he really wants him to apologize, and Blue Hawk doesn't see an issue whatsoever. He's just saying, it's not that big of a deal, blah, blah, blah. But, so they decide to get him to do an apology. And A-Train gets to pick when and where. So, while this is all going on, a huge explosion goes off in New York City. Specifically because our boy Soldier Boy is back in town, loses his stuff, and explodes. So, while this is going on, Vought freaks out. Homelander's talking about, trying to get ahead of this on the news and everything else. And Starlight's basically going, we have to find this guy and stop him. And Homelander's like, we need to worry about the numbers more than anything else. Why don't you go find him while the adults figure out how to clean up the mess? So we definitely see him very much getting worse and worse and spiraling out of control, which is so much fun. We also see that when they get to the terrorist location, the explosion specifically, Huey and Butcher are there, and they realize that this guy created a lot of radiation. Comes in, and Butcher explains to him that it needs, we need to work together again and everything else, and obviously you have a lead, and MM's like, of course I do. So they go see Legend. Now, Legend was the one that had Stillwell's job before Stillwell came around. He was kind of the talent manager. So he dealt with everybody. So he dealt with Soldier Boy. So Soldier Boy had come to visit him after a weird exchange overall between all of the guys. There were some parts that were funny and then other times just creepy, in my opinion. But that being said, when he gets to that point, he finally explains to them what he has and that he wanted a super suit and the address of his old girlfriend. So they then decide to come up with a plan to go get Crimson to make sure that she is, well, I don't want to say safe, but necessarily more using her as bait, because that's always fun. So before we get to the last part of the story, we must talk about where Blue Hawk makes an apology at the community in which he's killed a lot of African American men, and does not really apologize well. In fact, it ends in a lot of people dying and a lot of people injured. And one of the casualties is A-Train's brother, who is now going to be a paraplegic. A-Train's furious and is most likely going to go after Blue Hawk. Now, we then also have a scene between Maeve and Homelander where he basically confronts Maeve, saying that she's a backstabbing bitch. I think I can say that. Well, I said it. So he says that, and she basically says that she never loved him at all, and she didn't like him at all, and that she pitied him. And this, legitimately, I think this broke Homelander a little bit, not gonna lie. And it was because of that when she turns around, Black Noir goes and takes her. Now, Starlight tries to talk to Ashley, who is now the CEO, basically asking, what the hell's going on? Where's Maeve? And Ashley starts to break down a little bit, and then she picks herself back up and basically goes, "I'm the CEO. You make an appointment if you want to come see me." Really showing that she's on Team Homelander right now. So while this is all going on, Crimson is on a super porn site where she gets paid to do some freaky stuff to herself, while men do what they do in front of the camera while they watch. While this is going on, Butcher goes and tackles her, they chain her up, and they explain to her that her boyfriend is alive, that Soldier Boy is alive, and she was not surprised at all. In fact, she asked, how the hell did he escape Russia? So she doesn't give any information to the boys whatsoever, really. So they decide to use her as bait. Now, it is unclear 100% if they've taken it, but I imagine they did, that Butcher and Huey have taken the V. So they're all waiting outside for when Soldier Boy decides to show up, and Starlight comes. Apparently, called Starlight to come and join the group. Now, Butcher's not happy about this. Huey's not happy about it. The only one that seems happy about it is And so Huey and Starlight talk just outside the area, and while this is going on, Mother's Milk starts to feel weird. He actually gets knocked out. Apparently, he roofied him a lot. This is when Soldier Boy comes in, and Butcher tries to make a deal with him that he's tied up his girlfriend for him, ready for him to talk, but he has to do him a favor. And it seems to have been agreed upon, although we don't know the full extent of the deal. That being said, he goes in to talk to Crimson, and she basically explains to him the truth that She didn't get paid by the Russians to do it, and in fact she did it for free because she didn't like him, and nobody liked him. And that's when he decided to go nuclear and melt her to a tiny puddle. Well, she still had skeleton parts, but a lot of her skin and muscles were gone because she was melted. Butcher gets MM out of there, and then as they get there, Huey and Starlight come running because they see the explosion. And that's when we find out that when Soldier Boy comes out and he gets ready to attack, Huey gets in front of her and explains that this was the plan all along, and that they knew Mother's Milk wasn't going to be a part of it or want to be a part of it, but they had no idea she was going to be involved. They're going to use Soldier Boy to try to take out Homelander. And she basically begs him to stay, and Huey joins Butcher along with Soldier Boy and leave together. And that's how the episode ends. So this was a sad episode. A lot of sad stuff overall. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, I apologize. It is between Frenchie and Kimiko. So Kimiko realizes she has no powers. She's very happy about it. She seems to start to be able to speak. She shares a kiss with Frenchie. Frenchie's old Russian boss wants him to pay a debt where he's supposed to be killing some young girl. He doesn't do it, and the end of their part of the episode is when she goes back and captures Frenchie. We don't know for what or how or what's going to happen or anything else. And Kimiko is left in the hospital alone and wondering where he is. So, things we have learned. Homelander is very unstable and, in fact, very scary of what he's going to do next. He cannot handle the pressures of what's going on at Vought, and he's not sure of what he needs to do, which is very obvious by just the way he's presenting himself, acting, all that stuff. Maeve has been the next victim on the list, where she's been taken, but we don't know what's happened to her. I really hope she's not dead, but with Homelander, who knows? I think A-Train is going to kill Blue Hawk for what happened to his brother. I also think that there's going to be a fight between Soldier Boy and Homelander, and I'm not quite positive who's going to win. And we also have MM, who is not going to be happy with what's going on, and who knows what's going to happen with that. And then we have no idea what's going on with Frenchie in the sense of, is he dead? Is he alive? Who knows what's happening? And then Kimiko, she's powerless now. So even if he is in trouble, she's not going to be able to do anything to help him. So what's the person to do? So I think it's, first off, episode phenomenal. Liked it. That being said, I'm not quite positive I know where they're going. My guess is there's going to be some sort of conflict between Soldier Boy and Homelander. That being said, anything can happen, twists and turns can happen, and let's be honest, the people who've created The Boys have done such an excellent job of kind of adding twists and turns that we wouldn't expect. So definitely not that I'm not happy with what's going on. It's more the fact that we don't know what's going to happen, and I think that's what makes it so great, and I think that's what makes it so entertaining as well. So let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you like? What did you not like? Please let me know. Now, as always, if you like the content you see, please like and subscribe below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a great day.